Did you know that the government collects taxes on clogged toilets? My friends, good evening. When I said I was going to leave the United Kingdom, several people said, I'd rather stay and fight. Only cowards leave. Let me give you an example from the United Kingdom. When I work, I do consulting or I sell a book or something else and I make money, it doesn't go into my pocket. It goes into my company. I have to do it. That's how it works. It goes into a business account. The company is taxed. It pays taxes on it. These taxes have recently increased from 19 to 25%. That's not a 6% increase. It's an increase of nearly 32% from an accounting perspective, a 1/3 increase. After that, the company pays me. And when they pay me, I also have to file a tax return and get taxed a second time. Yes. When I use that money, they tax me again. I'll give you an example that explains that shocking statement at the beginning. I called a plumber because my daughter had thrown a toy in the toilet, and so the toilet was clogged. He told me, yes, I'll come. It costs this much. He offered a price of around 200 euros to come and help, to provide his services. And he told me 200 plus, of course. VAT. I told him the government charges VAT on clogged toilets. And let's imagine the hypothetical situation where I have money to pay for unclogging the toilets. I can't afford the VAT. What should I do? Should I go into the forest? The state demands money that has already been taxed several times. Is it demanding yet another new tax? I can already see the accountants coming into the comments saying VAT isn't a tax, I don't care. It's something I pay that comes out of my income. So the government demands a tax on clogged toilets. You know what I did? I told the guys there's no need to come.
I'll take care of it.
It was a matter of principle. It was no longer about taxes or toilets. It became a matter of principle, I'd say.
A point of honor.
I solved the problem myself. Those who say only cowards leave, you have to resist. You have to stay and resist. How do you resist? When the state takes an increasing part of your income, how are you going to resist? When the state says starting January 1st or starting next month, you're going to pay 30% more in taxes, what do? You don't pay them? You say, I'm resisting? I'm a resistor. I'll pay you 19% and I won't pay the rest. What's your resistance? You know very well that you can't resist like that. You know that if you don't pay them, they'll send bailiffs. You know they'll seize money from your accounts. You know they'll add penalties, late fees, interest. You know it. So you're going to pay, you're going to give in and pay. You, the resistor with a capital R. So what's your room to maneuver then? What are you going to cut? The adjustment variable is that I keep resisting and I call my daughter and explain it to her. You know, your tennis, we're going to have to stop. Because your dad is standing his ground. Today, the state, which we have to pay for, demands even more money. So we'll have to cut back. There won't be any vacation next year. We won't go on vacation. We'll pay the state because we resist. We're the ones resisting. And in the end, ultimately, the tennis stuff, maybe tennis isn't essential. You can skip the vacation. You can always stay at home or go for a drive on the weekend. But in the long run, over a lifetime, what does that lead to? Over a lifetime, it might mean children who didn't get the education they should have had. They had the ability to do it, and then the parent earned enough money to pay for their education, except that money was taken and disappeared. On shoes, you saw recently the French government bought 750,000 euros worth of shoes, dress shoes, at 2,500 euros a pair. It's easy money for them. They just take it. It's not money they earn. Tomorrow, they could decide to take 100%, you pretend to be a resistor. If they decide to take 100%, you give 100%, you don't have a choice. And what do they spend it on? They spend it on whatever they want. If they want to spend it on shoes, or spend it on dishes, or spend it on taxis, or on food expenses, I'm referring to well-known scandals. What do you do? If they want to send money abroad, what do you do? If they want to spend on pointless ideological lawsuits, what do you do? The so-called resistor, you back down. You deprive your children of education. You deprive your children of the essentials so you can finance the trivial for others. And in the long run, over a lifetime, what does that lead to in the end?
Of a lifetime?
Over the course of a lifetime of hard work where you've given an ever-growing share, to bring you back to a state with a sprawling administration that's more expensive every day and demands more money from you every day. What does that amount to over the course of a lifetime? Over the course of a lifetime, the difference is between someone who, at a very old age, being sure that he has left his children well provided for, having left them assets, a business that's doing well, real estate, no matter how you define it, but leaving them well provided for, or leaving them with debts and funeral expenses to pay. With a credit card and a consumer loan at 24.9% per year, that's the difference. You see? So how are you supposed to resist that? Someone used a different image. You can immediately see those who are leaving when the ship is sinking. They are the first to flee. I've always planned ahead. If a ship sinks, there are two choices. There are those who get into lifeboats and save their lives. They save the lives of others, or they encourage others to get into lifeboats, which is what I'm doing with these videos. And there are those who stay to sink with the ship and become one with its wreck at 4,200 meters underwater. It's a life choice. I don't want to become one with a wreck. If a country is sinking, I reserve the right to leave. I reserve the right to put my personal interests first, the interests of my family, the interests of my children. You have to stop thinking the way you've always been told to think. That means slavery was abolished, but they still make you think like a slave. It's high time to gain your independence. That's the first kind of independence. It's not financial independence, it's mental independence. That's always where it starts. You have to start claiming that independence. Everything else will follow. But as long as you think like a slave, you'll be forced to work, you'll be forced to create, you'll be forced to work to make others millionaires. You might be a minimum wage worker, but you're making millionaires. You don't know it, but many like you together are working as one. Buy a millionaire shoes that cost 2,500 euros. I don't want to make that choice.
That's it.
I don't want to do that. Simple. I don't want resistance. I'm leaving the resistance to you. Keep it for yourself. Resist. I'll watch from afar. I'm moving away.
And then,
from the other side of the world, I see you resisting. You'll keep me posted. We'll see how much you manage to resist. Thank you, my friends. I'll see you in another video. In the meantime, think about your interests and those of your family. And be honorable.